Hello. Good evening. It's Friday night. It's a noisy night. It's hot. It's amazing weather. Perfect summer weather. Hot and humid. The temperature is still 29 degrees and it's 7 p.m. August 20th. What a wonderful day it has been. What a day of joy and everlasting health. What a day of amazing things. It's just fabulous. It was sunny and hot. An amazing day. Everything was absolutely beautiful today. It was hot, the birds were singing, the wind was blowing, the chimes were going. I had a fabulous day. So what I want to say to you tonight is that welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Tonight is Friday night. I am featuring my creations, the 5 pillars of prosperity. Not the words, but to use them that way. Of course, it came like a little bit of a meditation thing. But tonight is special. Tonight is your relationship and financial prosperity. That's tough. That's a big one. That is one where both men and women can suffer. This pillar, financial prosperity and relationship, that can destroy lives. So this is funny, we're having this type of situation tonight. Financial prosperity, your relationship and financial prosperity, your relationships. Wow. When I think of all the things I've had to fix for others, when I think of the pain I saw in people's eye, when I saw the joy that I saw in some others' eye because, something great happened financially with a relationship. But when we hear those two words together, we often think of the most negative of them. That's tough. That's the tough one. So many times we make decisions, financial decisions with relationships, and sometimes I remember just feeling the energy from people. But financial relationship is really, really critical to survival, mental health, spiritual health, emotional, physical. It affects you so much. It can affect you in a good way. And it can devastate you in a not so good way. It's amazing that money, finances, evoke such big emotions from people. Very good euphoric emotion, depressing emotion. That's why they give finances such a bad name. They give money such a bad name. And that's why they say it's the root of all evil. Because of money, people do things. Because of money, they say things. Because of money. And some of them are really, really good. And some of them are really, really bad. So that's why when you're in a relationship, whether it's with a child, a parent, a significant other, a friend, and it has to do with money, one has to be careful. One has to be so careful. It's not the doom and the gloom of it all, but let's look at there's beautiful sides to it. Let's say you got together with somebody that makes 50,000. That's not a lot of money these days, and you make 50,000. That type of relationship with a financial component where it's balanced is great. You can purchase a home. You guys can have a really lovely car. And sometimes you can buy, each of you can have a car. You can go on an annual vacation. If you have children, you can afford to do it with careful management of that 100,000 gross income. And if you work at it and you stay on top of it within the relationship, one day you will have a debt-free life. And I know this can be done, and it will forever be done. And sometimes one partner is making a lot more money than the other, and that works too. That works really well. Let's say nowadays women are making amazing amount of money, and sometimes the husband or the significant other is not. And you would think it won't work, but that works too. It really does work. That person that is making the extra money sometimes is understandably feeling very, they feel good and they say, no, I make 70,000, my partner makes 25 or 35,000. But between us, we put this together, we can rock the world, we can create lives for ourselves and our families. And that is the good part. And it's funny, I need to tell you guys why I created the Pillars of Prosperity. And I created it because I had a young man come to me. And he came about financial prosperity. His finances, but he was married and they had 2 children. Somebody recommended him to me, a life coach he had, said to him, go see Tessa-Marie because I'm seeing her for my finances and I think she'll help you. But after several meetings with this young man, I found out, hold on, Tessa-Marie, it has nothing to do with finances. The story is like that. His wife was going to become a vice principal or a principal. So that means she's already making $95,000 a year. And he was making less. But sometimes the older people, many of you will remember that, your grandmother would say, common sense is a lot better than education. So there is this educated woman, master's degree in education and a teacher, now going to be a principal. And she didn't know when to put on the brakes. She didn't know when to lower the gear. She didn't know when to shift to a lower gear. And she kept insisting, I am making more money than you. You are not making money like that. And as she was doing this, he kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And he had no confidence in himself because there is his wife making $100,000 and he's maybe barely bringing in 45. The attitude demoralized him. I am not saying I only heard that from him. I saw it in action. Body language is a killer. Somebody's language about their money and their possession, and I'm educated, I have more money than you. And there he is going to school, trying to become an accountant, chartered accountant. But she has that amazing income of $95,000 as a teacher. And she let him know that she was making more money than him. So he just kept getting into more mess with the little that he was earning, trying to push his bosses to give him more money. They would fire him and he goes, and the cycle just got worse. So he came to see me for finances. And that is when I looked at him, I heard his story, I met the wife, and I go, Holy Ghost, this is not financial. That problem is not based on finances. That problem is based on his emotional prosperity, his mental prosperity. I looked at him in the weeks I met him, months I met him, he gained weight, his physical prosperity. He was, I think, going to church on Saturdays. He stopped going. He just gave up. And that is when I developed the 5 pillars of prosperity. And I found out in his case, financial prosperity and the relationship had nothing to do. He felt small because his wife earned money, more money than him, maybe almost 3 times his income, while he's trying to become a chartered accountant. But if all of that education, she had double masters in education, she didn't know when to put the brakes on. She didn't know how to stop demoralizing a man. She didn't know that she should not keep rubbing it into him that you are making less money than me. She didn't know. So when you remember your grandmother said, common sense is a lot more valuable than education, that was a case study for it. This educated woman didn't realize sometimes to keep your husband, just to encourage him, don't rub it into him. Don't say it in front of family and friends that you earn so much more than him. Don't belittle him. You know, she didn't know better. She really, truly didn't know what she was doing was hurting her husband. I went to a Catholic boarding school. The nun said to us one day, when poverty walks through the door, love flies out the window. And when I met them, love was heading for the window at 90 miles an hour and it had no intention of stopping. So when I spoke to her and I said, no, I had to have a private conversation with her. And I said, you need to pull some of this back. Well, why? I make more money than him. I said, he knows that. No, I know that. And you have made sure the entire family on both sides knows that. I said, his parents and his siblings are looking at you in a different light. That's not good energy for you anyway. So what I am trying to say, relationship and money is important and you have to know how to navigate it. Sometimes we need to pull back and keep our tongue behind our teeth. Because the moment we let those loose, they're like hyenas in heat. They don't come home. The minute those degrading, demoralizing words we send towards others, it doesn't come back in your mouth. It's gone. Especially nowadays, it's in social media and it's in the ethers forever. So that's what I wanted to tell you. That is one part of relationship and money and financial prosperity. That is what made me create the 5 pillars of prosperity. I saw the weakness, I saw the sadness, I saw it hurt. But then there are other types of ways that we affect relationship with our children. When we hide the true situation of finances to the point the children do not know, that they keep asking you, buy me this shoe, buy me this nightcap, buy me these boots, buy me this, mommy. Everybody's going to this thing at the school. They're going to a play. They're going to a movie. Mommy, we need the money. And you keep saying, we haven't got the money. You have to sit them down. It's not at that moment when they come home from school with a list in their hand of the books the teacher wants them to buy for extracurricular activity that you say to them, we cannot afford it. That is not what you do. That is when you have what you call a family meeting. You sit the children down. It doesn't matter how tiny they are. And put them down. And you say to them, listen, mommy and daddy would love, or mommy or daddy, we would love to buy you those things. But honey, we are planning to buy a home. So you can have your own bedroom. A bedroom you can decorate yourself. We're planning to go visit family for the summer. You have to give them a reason. Explain to them and do not lie. Give them and say, right now the money we have, we put it aside for us to have the things we want. Like a winter coat. You explain it to them in a way they can understand. The 2-year-old has to sit there. Whether they understand you or not, it's a family thing. The idea is not who understands what, is that we're all in this shit together. So that is one other way. When somebody said to my son, Michael, how do you figure out your money and stuff like that? He said, man, all I heard in my entire life was money, 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 money. He said, if I don't have it right, I can tell you it wasn't because I didn't hear it. And the guy said to him, I didn't even know what people did for paycheck until I got one. And I blew it for months until I realized I had rent to pay. He didn't know. So our job is to do this with the children when they're small. 2 years is not too small. While they're suckling on you, they're not too small. Keep them in your arm and talk. Something will sink in there that will serve them in the rest of their life. Now, the other situation, my mother gave me this medicine for this. She said, do not lend money to your friends or to family. If they ask you for money, do not lend it. Give it to them if you know you're going to not expect to get it back. You know that. Do not expect to get it back. Just give it to them. Because if you're expecting to get it back and you do not get it back, you're going to lose a friend or family member and your money. So you have a choice, she said. You either say, no, I do not lend money, or say, this is what I have, you don't have to pay me back. That way you're keeping the relationship. They're both valuable. You need to choose which one you want more. But if you give the money and you're expecting that person to pay you back and they don't, you lose the relationship and your money. So you need to choose. So that's what I mean when I talk financial prosperity and relationship. Now there's a big thing out there. Lonely people, lonely men, lonely women, and honestly, I hear so much of it, I want to hold my head and run away from home. People that I know who's supposed to have an intelligence. Somebody lives in Africa. You met him on the what you call this thing, on the internet, and he's telling you he has a farm in Africa. He's white. What is he doing in a farm in Africa? Anyway, and he needs $2,000. He needs another one. I have to get the farm. And when we get married, honey, we're going to go to the farm. Each one of you here know that. Everybody that will have heard this will have known this story already. This story exists. Then lo and behold, 300,000, and listen, that is small. Later, they find out it was all a hoax. Relationship and money is like oil and what is the other one, and water. They don't blend. You never get oil and water to become the same. So your relationship and money is important. You will lose friends and acquaintances and family and people you don't even know because of money. Well, what that thing you can do with money. So you have to be aware, be upfront. And tell the people that you know that are looking to get money from you, I do not lend the money. I do not give people my money unless I have a purpose that is valuable to me. They come in all shapes and sizes. They come in all colors and creed. And if you are so lonely and so sad and so everything that you must pay somebody to be your friend, then I don't know which pillar we need to work on with you. Maybe the pillar of mental and emotional, physical and spiritual. Because that tells me you're lacking self-esteem and confidence. So you see, guys, that's why I say the 5 pillars of prosperity is like the fingers of your hand. You break one finger, you know you cannot do anything. I have tried to show you guys, I cannot hold the glass properly without my thumb being part of it. It will fall and break and spill. So when one of the pillars of prosperity is not working, none of them are strong enough to carry the weight of 5. 4 cannot do the work of 5, not when the pillars are weak. And a young man, when he saw me talk about the 5 pillars of prosperity, you know what he said to me? He said, Tessa-Marie, you talking about the hand. He said, at least you can take the other hand and support and keep trying. He said, what do you think happens when they lost a toe? He said, I know about that. He said, I lost my toe and I have such a hard time walking. And because I cannot walk straight, I cannot even hold a proper job. They look at me as I have a handicap. So I'm just trying to say that all 5 pieces need to be together. Your 5 toes, your 5 fingers, and the 5 pillars of prosperity. That's what they represent. Holding it together and going with it. So do not let anybody tell you anything about financial and relationship. This is very powerful. It is also a very hurtful situation when people are not happy and they are dissatisfied about the relationship has gone down the tube. Like the nun said, when poverty walks in the door, in the front door, love flies out the window. You have known many, 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 numerous hundreds of thousands and millions of marriages have been broken over money. Money and relationship is a tight rope. It is that fine rope you see these people walking on from tower to tower. That's how fragile it is. And that is one part where honesty must play a part. And consideration and kindness and understanding of others. And not being so sure of yourself that because you make more money than your significant other, that you can rock their boat and take away the very essence of their being and demoralize them. When a person is demoralized, they cannot function at maximum. They lose focus and they become something else. So the pillar of financial prosperity and relationship is critical to living a fulfilled life. Like I said when I started, when you make 50,000 and he makes 25,000 or vice versa, and you put it together, you have 175, 80,000. If you use it well, you can end up buying a house. It mightn't be the Taj Mahal, but it will be something that is be yours. People look at a lot of people in North America and countries where they have all what they need. Look at small countries like the Caribbean and South America and some place in the East. And they think everybody there is poor. But the one thing most people in these countries have is that little plot of land, and that house sitting on it, they own it. They own it. They don't own anything on it. It might be one bedroom, a kitchen, a little room to sit in, but man, they own it. And what did they do? They put two little bits of money together and everybody came together and they have that little house. But they own it. And we can do that here too. But we must believe that we can put everything together. 50,000 from one partner and 40,000 is 90. 90 if well used and well saved and well managed through the spending plan, you can end up owning your own home. You can end up driving a decent car, the car you choose to drive. You can end up going on an annual vacation, one and sometimes two. You can end up at the end of the journey, at the end of that long journey of working, having financial freedom where you have no debt. So this is what happens when you take financial prosperity and you have relationship. It can be a tug of war, or it can be a give and a take. And it can be just a dance, a cordial, a ballet, a dancing and a moving. But you do not want it to be where one is pulling against the other. So that's the message on the financial prosperity journey. And guys, share that for others, because in this current thing we're doing right now, this life during, and now it looks like COVID has come to stay, there are going to be people that need to hear this, because so many people are experiencing financial difficulty now. It's like at the beginning of COVID, we were all drunk and we were just point and click. And I teased my friend and I said, I'm sure the Amazon truck could come to your house without a driver. And she said to me, what you mean? I said, listen, man, every flipping day that truck 3-4 times is at your door. I swear, if they just tell, press a button, that truck would find your front door and deliver your parcel. It doesn't even need a driver. It comes here so often. So this is what I want you guys to understand. If you are the bread earner that is earning the money, think of the other person. Especially if they do not know, they know how much more you're making than them. You need to have conversation at the right time, in the right place, in the right moment, not at 6 o'clock when you're cooking dinner and everybody's hasty. No, take a moment to chill, have some tea, have a glass of wine, and sit down and say, honey, I really understand the situation we're in. I know you must be feeling bad that I am bringing in more than you, but it's not more than you. It's more to put us together in a better place at a better time. Listen to me. When I come to talk to you about this, I am not talking from a book. This girl is talking from that. When it comes to financial stuff, I lived it. I am the one that saved $1.75 every week. I am the one whose husband's raise was only 25 cents an hour. And my raise was $3.50 a month or whatever, every 6 months. So what I'm talking about to you is not a story from a fairy tale. It's not from the internet, it's from my life. I know what it is to start at the bottom and now we are here. Isn't that what Drake said? Can you believe I know what Drake said? We started at the bottom and now we are here. That's where I started, right at the bottom. How many people you know was willing to go to the bank and have them take to the credit union, never mind the bank, the credit union, for the employees' credit union, and take $1.75 every 2 weeks, and save it. And you know what happened? The little rain is the little bit of rain that fills the bucket. It's not the big shower. The big shower is wasted. The water is wasted. You can try it. Open the tap at home and open it full swing and you'll see water going everywhere. But if you open it slowly and you put little and let it run slowly, it will fill too and none will waste. So it's not the big shower that fills the bucket, it's the constant, persistent shower. Little bit. And that's what we did. And I will forever tell you guys that. After about 5 years, 5 or 7 years, we had $5,000. That $5,000 was our down payment for this house that some mad crazy man come last week, saw me in my front garden and told me he can sell, he wants to buy my house for $1.7 million. I said to him, and sir, where would you like me to go live? And he just walked away. So this little $5,000 is giving me the right to stand here and talk to you. This man who comes from Timbuktu is walking the street looking for people to sell their houses to them. And he chose me. He chose me. And you know I have an answer for everything. So I asked him the question, where are you sending me to live? If I sell my house to you, I can have money, but I still have to buy in the same crazy market you're trying to get away from. So do not, my stories never end. I hope I am a good storyteller. Somebody let me know if I'm a good storyteller because all my stories are so true. Maybe it's because I've lived a long life and I have a lot of siblings. I told you guys about my brother Milton. A few years ago, he's busy because he learned from me. He's the youngest and I'm the eldest girl. And I taught him, I'm the one that made him read, push him, and made him educated. Said, God, you have to get going. And you're smarter than most. I pushed him. I encouraged him to save. I said, Milton, you need to save. It doesn't matter how small. Save. Make sure there is money you can count on, you can turn. If your head hurts, you can go buy aspirin because you have money. And one day, his wife, who is a nurse, said to him, Milton, little savings is no savings. Big shot, right? It's not that Milton wasn't making a lot of money. I think he was making more than her. But she just wanted him to know, Milton, saving $20 is nothing. You should be saving $500. So Milton said to me, I said, Milton is a man of few words. He's not like me. He said, Tess, I just shrugged my shoulder and I walked away. I didn't care. And then he called me because Milton and I talk every Friday night for 4 hours. He's my baby brother. So Milton called me on Friday night and he left that time and he told me. And I said, Milton, you know what? Every time you get a raise, put that money in there. If it's a 50 cents an hour raise and when your next paycheck comes back, you notice that there is 40 cents more, take that 40 cents and go to the bank and tell them, no, can you add that 40 cents to my $20 and make it $20.40. Milton followed that for years. And his wife, whatever. Then Hurricane Maria came calling on the island and to wipe out her mother's house. And she's telling Milton she needs money, they need to fix the house and everybody, and she doesn't have any money. And guess what Milton did? All that money he saved, he went to the bank, he got it, and he gave it to her. And he said, I came this close to telling her, well, aren't you the one that said little saving is no savings? And he said, you know what, I remembered you, and I remembered our mom. I remembered mommy. And he said, mommy would say, no, revenge is not yours. Do not do that. Let it go. 6 months later, she said to Milton, Milton, I cannot believe you had all that money. And he still did not say a word to her, because that was a little savings he was doing, and he was able to give it to her. So that type of money and relationship is funny. Milton could have gone crazy and let her have it and say, no, I have to do this, and you know how it can go. But he chose not to go that way. So this is what you must remember. When it comes to money, man, you have to be careful. Money can destroy and it has destroyed many relationships, not only husband and wife, father and mother, brother and sisters, aunts and cousins, friends and neighbors. If you cannot afford to lose that money and never get it back, and you want to maintain the relationship, I can tell you, just say no. But if you know you can just going to forget it, I gave it, if I get it back, I get it back, then do it. Because at least you will save the relationship.